topic for my csie 63 Big Data Analytics 2014 class is Flume, a distributed system for collecting streaming data. Flume is a distributed, reliable, and available service used to collect, aggregate, and move large amounts of streaming event data from many sources to a centralized data store. Let's quickly move on to various core components that are used by Flume. The core component, and Flume event can be defined as a unit of data flow having a payload and optional set of string attributes. A Flume agent is a JVM process that holds the components through which events flow from an external source to next destination or hop. Flume agent has three main components, namely source, channel, and sink. The source consumes events delivered to it by an external source like a web service. The external source sends event to Flume in a recognizable format. When a Flume source receives event, it stores them into one or more channels. The channels is a passive store that keeps an event like the HDFS of or forward is the Flume source or the next Flume next the event stage in the channel. Let's quickly move on after learning the architecture. Let's quickly move on to the source define the various sources, sinks, and channels. Here you can see a sample configuration file, and I'm binding it to local host. I can define multiple sources in the same file. So I've defined both exec and the netcat as a source on the same file. The channel is of type memory, and I've named it C1. And the sink I've named as K1 and it's of type HDFS. The path for HDFS to store the file is /tmp. Let's quickly move on to demo how the files would be transferred from the Okay, quickly looking at it, what I did, I started the Flume agent on one of the windows of Sigwin. I'm logged into Amazon EC2 instance, and after looking at the log that was loaded all in this window, I can see a Flume source was successfully defined and a Flume sink was successfully defined, and it's looking for event to be happening on one of. And on the other window, I kind of did a netcat telnet to the local host and typed a certain message on the port 444. I just did it created it send the data to the Hadoop file system in a file called flume data followed by some numbers. And if I do a cat on that file, I can see the text that I typed in the telnet log console. So this indicates that it's a very efficient way of transferring data from one source to another.